Good morning. Welcome to Ramblings with Joe. I got the peanut gallery in the form of my wife on the couch. Good morning, Em.
Boker Tov.
And she's telling me about this coffee. This is her first time tasting it. And what were your thoughts? On the coffee? What were your thoughts?
It's good coffee, but it's a little bit too, I don't know, the molasses thing is a little bit too sweet, I think.
The notes of molasses?
Right, and it's a little bit on the smoky side, which I usually don't mind when it's paired with chocolate.
So I tried
it. I would not complain about this cup of coffee if somebody put it in front of me. But I probably would also not buy it again.
So this, I tried it this morning, straight black, and definitely needs just a little bit of half and half, which is what I'm doing now. And I don't know, I'm not a big molasses fan either, notes of molasses. I don't like fruity notes and molasses notes, huh?
It's probably because we don't eat sugar and it seems overly sweet.
No, even back when we were eating sugar, I wasn't a big, even back when we were eating sugar, you said that we had some fruity notes.
This isn't fruity to me. Is this a dark or medium roast? Because most of the fruity, I don't like light roast because most of them seem to be on the fruity floral kind of.
Yeah, but a lot more caffeine.
Right, but I don't, I just drink more coffee if I want more caffeine.
So we're struggling with the topic today. And I read a few articles this morning. I'm trying not to be a news-centric podcast. Yesterday's podcast was, I think,
intriguing.
You really enjoyed it, Em?
Yeah, it was intriguing. Although Grok does not sound, your Grok does not sound like my Grok in my head. My Grok is a dude.
Well,
and he has a more, think Jordan Peterson combined with Thomas Sowell. That is what Grok sounds like in my head.
Those are high standards.
No. In voice.
So,
I don't know.
I'm not sure what makes Grok choose which voice it uses, because after the crash, it had changed voices on me after the application crashed. But I was fairly impressed with it.
Oh, well, I need to add something to that then. I do not use voice mode.
Right.
So I have never heard Grok's voice until that one time when I set it on Unhinged and then put a character that I made it create earlier into a zombie apocalypse HOA board meeting scenario and how she would react. And that's the first voice, and that was female also. But you have to set it on Unhinged.
So
But anyway, I text Grok because it takes me too long to formulate my sentences and say them out loud, so it always, answers half-formed sentences.
Yeah.
So I type to it and I read. But in my head, this is difficult to explain. I don't think in words, so in my head, Grok sounded like a dude that the voice is like somewhere between Jordan Peterson and Thomas Sowell.
When we're reading as individuals, we all create a sound for characters that we're reading in books or in newspaper articles or anything we read. We create sound, how we think that person sounds in our head. For instance, our favorite book, Bulgarian, for me, would probably sound extremely different than he would for you. To me, Bulgarian sounded, throughout the whole book, even after he became an adult and got married, he still sounded like a teenager going through puberty with a voice breaking. Because that's how I was first introduced to the character, so that carried throughout the whole book.
Actually, when I read books, I don't even make up the voices.
Oh, I definitely do.
It's almost like a silent movie.
But
in my head.
For Grok you did because it was conversational, maybe?
I think so. When I heard Grok's voice for the very first time, I was shocked in a way because I was expecting the voice that I hear in my head.
Right.
And to me, I assigned it the male. I know it's an it and it's not really intelligent, but
Yeah.
I assigned it a male persona because the answers, especially in somewhat complex discussions, the way the sentences were formed seemed more masculine to me. Like I envisioned that's how a man talks versus a woman.
That's very interesting because in my mind, I was talking to a female entity, and I wonder if there's not some part of the algorithm that sets that tone in its sentence structure when you talk to it.
I think it has
Because
a default.
well,
Maybe it's because I'm female, and that is my preferred.
well, I've only heard it as a female coming out of any of my devices, so it's possible. But ironically, this is the inverse of my podcast experience. I drive down the road and I used to listen to tons of podcasts. And remember when we first started looking at a couple of them on YouTube, I was so surprised as to how they looked because I made up these characters in my mind.
You make up the faces to go with the voices
Yes,
if you've
absolutely.
never seen. Yes, I do that too. And maybe that's what was happening here with the whole Grok. I made up this persona in my head in a way of a voice, not a whole, I didn't have a visual, it was just an entity with a voice. I didn't have a visual of what Grok may have looked like or what Grok would look like in my imagination.
And I believe...
Because I know we are anthropomorphized.
We anthropomorphize.
The chatbot, because that's a human, you can't get that is our state of being, so you can't really get out of that.
They're trying to make it sound as human as they possibly, and now they've added character.
And some of them, the female voice really is more uncanny valley to me. Grok's default voice does not sound, it doesn't grate on me like some female voices, but there's something off about that voice.
Well, initially yesterday it was there were some gaps in how it was talking. There would be a break in the sentence structure.
And Grok is way too friendly. Oh, okay, she's all about that safe space experience or something.
Well, I know that ChatGPT, I was listening to another podcaster, and he was saying that he was talking to his ChatGPT. It has voice mode as well. And he told it something, and then it said something that he didn't like, something that made it seem too human. And he immediately said, don't ever do that again.
Like when they say, I feel, or, you know, I'm like, you don't feel, knock it off.
Yesterday, and I didn't even realize that it had done it, and I went back and looked at the file, and it does do it a lot. It likes to ask a question at the end of each statement.
Which can throw you off your...
Well, it's almost like it's leading the conversation.
Oh, like leading the witness, and
Yeah, so if I'm talking about, like, as in yesterday, the Big Bang, it would continue to question. That's why I told it to stop asking questions.
And it actually worked.
Yeah.
I was always wondering in text, I was like, I wonder if I couldn't turn that off, because that's distracting, because with a mind like mine, each question they ask, even though it's designed to get you to think more deeper in which direction you want to take it, designed to make you choose focus, I guess. And I'm not down with that. It breaks my focus, and then my brain goes all over the place, and then I become, what I term my babbling idiot phase, where I start...
That's the name of your podcast, Babbling with M.
Babbling like idiots with M.
So there is something that I'd like to kind of flesh out a little bit from the conversation yesterday I had with Grok, and it's that balloon, and it's switched to bread dough
Right, and I'm like, isn't that just a whole bunch of bubbles?
with raisins.
Thousands and thousands of bubbles.
So the bread dough and the raisins, got a frog in my throat this morning, and the bread dough and the raisins. So let me back up to the balloon scenario. It kept saying, picture the stars on the outside of the balloon, or galaxy on the outside of the balloon being pushed out.
Okay.
And what it was saying was the balloon represents a single plane in the time-space continuum. And that's what's pushing, because it's expanding, that's what's pushing the galaxies apart, away from each other. And then it switched to it took me a while to figure this out. And then it switched to the bread dough, because I was saying, isn't there a bunch of inside the balloon as well? And all of those planes, it was trying to convey the idea that everything is interconnected and being pushed apart by the space-time continuum.
Oh, like soap bubble clusters.
Well,
You know,
yeah,
when
but
you do-
it's not the bread dough analogy is saying that it's being pushed apart. Everything's being pushed apart.
Right, because each bubble inside the dough is expanding.
Well, it's not so much the bubbles, it's just everything's interconnected by space-time.
Right,
So
it's just
skip the
whole,
bubble part. Just concentrate on the dough part.
To be honest, you know, I still haven't made it through Stephen Hawking's a short. What is that called?
Short history of...
A short history of the universe or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. We got it upstairs, and you know, that literally made my brain hurt so bad. That I had to eventually give up, especially, yeah, there are so many things, and plus it's scary if what he posits as what could be, you know, because everything is theoretical at this point, or even hypothetical. I don't even know to which level we have gotten in our knowledge of the universe. I like black holes, but other than that, it's not really of much interest because there are so many unknowns. I don't like unknown variables. I don't like any of that stuff. And as an atheist, it's a little bit scary. So, you know.
How about as a non-atheist?
The beyond? That's God.
Well, you're talking about what's outside of the universe.
Yes,
Okay.
it's God.
I got you.
The whole thing is like, yeah, it does not. It fits right into how the Torah describes God's nature, which we cannot know, and we will never know what the beyond really is.
So
Maybe we will. If you're a believer, you will know at some point. If you're an atheist, then, you know, we just haven't figured it out yet, but there is so many things that are now already challenging what used to be settled science.
Yeah.
And now, you know,
Well, that is...
we come. Didn't they just recently discover the boson-Higgs particle?
Well, they created it. They had it theoretically.
They created?
Yeah. At
Okay, I don't keep up with this
Large
kind of stuff.
Hadron
Like,
Collider. But one of the things that I didn't like about Hawking's books was it was about everything. That makes it very... I prefer to take life in bite-sized pieces. So, like with the conversation I had with Grok yesterday, that was strictly... That started off as, is there a place where there can be absolute stillness, no movement? And the answer is no,
I don't
according
think
to
there's
science.
either, because that also lines up with, as an atheist, I wouldn't know. But as a believer in God, this also can be explained. But it wouldn't be enough for secular, you know, for scientific explanation. It wouldn't be enough because it's just, yeah, you're just putting a label on it. You still don't know what it is.
That's all science is. That's all science is. Science is...
Right, what I'm saying is, but you can argue, I'd like to argue a point from those differing points of view, which sometimes seem to be, in contradiction with each other, but they really are not.
Well, the stronger point
I am finding
wins
out
out.
as I learn more. But
The stronger point wins out. The point with more proof wins out. The settled, what they call settled science,
right,
that wins out. That's because it's settled science until it's not.
right, until, yeah.
The world is flat until it's not. Until it is discovered that, oh no, it's not flat.
I mean, you also shouldn't be a pushover. I mean, you should exercise a little bit of what do you call it, skepticism before you
Yeah.
fall headfirst into the new thing.
Skeptical autonomy
It
is what I
seems
call
like
it.
right. It seems like in science, with the capital S that we see everywhere, you know, we're not exploring scientific principle or, you know, something that we want to find out about. We are now investigating to prove a preconceived notion. We've already made up a mind about something, so now we're going to go out and prove that. That is how science works now with the capital S. You know, the grant money, you don't get money for a project unless...
The problem is not that you're out to prove something. The problem is when you disprove it through trying to prove it. So in science, this is my, I'm not a scientist obviously, but in science, someone puts forth a supposition and then they test it. They try to either prove or disprove it. And if you invest so much in the outcome that it's got to be proven, well, now you're not doing science.
Right. Now you're looking for confirmation.
I'm not sure what term we can apply to that, but it's confirmation bias.
The big tobacco tactic.
Let's stay focused on that. What is that called when you're not trying? Supposedly you're putting forth this supposition and you're going out to find out if it's true. So to do that, you try to prove it's true. But
and you disregard everything else that is.
If you try to prove that it's true and you put aside everything that disproves it,
right?
What is that called?
Selective science. I don't know.
No, it's got to be called something, and it's bad science, is what it is.
It is. It's not in the spirit of the scientific discovery and the methodology used.
And during COVID.
Oh yeah.
That was a huge problem.
Oh yeah. The government does science with. That's what I call the science with a capital S.
Yes.
They don't actually do science as it should be done.
That should be
in a journey of discovery and finding truth. What is behind this? What makes this work? Why is it the way it is?
Yeah.
And you are honestly trying to figure this out. But that's not what we have anymore.
No.
We have establishment science with a capital S where you have to go back in every year for grant money. And you only get that money if you were a good capital S scientist the previous year and you made headway in proving something someone else with money wants to be proving in a certain way.
I watched something on a Rogan podcast that comes into line with this. It was about the pyramids and how old they are.
Oh, okay.
And there was one he's not a scientist, he's a journalist, but he was doing an investigation and he found some people and some proofs that they may be a lot older than we think because of the way they have corroded over time. And one of them was saying, one of the people that he was talking, I don't remember all the names, I think this is years ago I saw this, but one of them was saying that, they're a lot older because there's water corrosion around the Sphinx and the bottoms.
I've heard something in that vein as well. Like,
but to stay on track,
it seems like I watched a documentary.
The archaeologists, the traditional archaeologists, are very anti this theory. They will not let that theory be investigated. They won't even contemplate the idea that this could be correct.
So then you're not a scientist if you have that closed of a mind.
Your
mind shouldn't be too open because then you go the other way. And it leads to, what do you call it, junk science.
I forgot we were doing a podcast for a moment.
But if it's too narrowly focused or if you are too narrow in you have to have an open mind.
100%.
Not too close, not too wide open, not the extremes on either side, but
You can't be so invested in the outcome of your research.
right. Don't ask the question if you're afraid the answer might not be
You can't
what
be
you were
so
expecting.
invested in the outcome of your research that your research can't be wrong.
Yeah.
That simple. It's that simple.
And
If
we
you
have a huge problem with that.
I think we really
In
do.
the scientific community, it
Oh
seems
no, I
like
think it goes beyond the scientific community. I think it goes beyond. I think it goes to. I think I'm part of it. I think my Second Amendment beliefs at this point is what I'm calling it.
Wait, Second Amendment beliefs?
Sure, I am so invested in the idea
Oh, okay. I was like, what has
That
Second
I
Amendment to
can't-
do with science?
I'm so invested. Well, that's what I was saying.
Other than ballistics, maybe.
That's what I was saying. It goes beyond science. I think I'm so invested in the idea that the Second Amendment is essential.
So what does that tell you?
Well, I have to keep in that particular case. I have to keep backing up and looking at it and saying, okay, am I falling into the belief category instead of these facts back up what I'm following in this category?
So that is basically a signal to me as well. Oh, I'm a little bit too comfortable in here and too strongly opinionated. This is where I need to watch for blind spots or confirmation bias things or any of these things that trip us up.
Yes.
So, I don't understand why people now, when you correct them, they get all butthurt. You're not correcting them because you're being an asshole. Sorry,
okay.
I guess that's a
That's
a checkbox check.
There's the check box for
Because
this is an
you're-
adult podcast.
Because you're
I need some more coffee.
anyway. Yeah, I'm buzzing right along. Ooh, this is some strong stuff. Anyway, now I lost my train of thought.
I need my coffee.
When you
too.
feel very strongly about a subject, that is a red flag. It should be a red flag to oneself. Hey, watch out. And this is where I start listening to people. I mean, you can kind of sort them. They sort themselves. You know which one you need to start paying attention to because you're like, oh, that's interesting.
Right.
But most people just outwardly reject anything that does not fit into the little narrow worldview. So nobody asks themselves questions. When
Echo
something happens, I look at myself first to find the fault. There's something I'm doing wrong. There's something here. So I ask myself questions. And sometimes I have to ask you or someone else who isn't as close and say, hey, this is what I think. Am I wrong? Am I right?
It's the whole creating an echo chamber, so all you're hearing is your own point of views.
To me, living in an echo chamber is the literal definition of hell. Who wants to live? How boring is that? No more stimulus.
So questioning.
Everything you have figured out, and you keep anything out that threatens that. What does that do in the long term to your psyche as a human being?
Questioning your own political points of view and your own beliefs is the first step to learning anything on those two levels.
It's a painful process, though, sometimes.
It doesn't have to be painful. The reason it's painful for people is because they are so invested in what they believe that letting go of it hurts. That's where the pain comes from.
Right, because you have assigned a certain amount of meaning to it, and it has become part of your, identity, I suppose, and it's just kind of like, it's like breaking a bad habit. It's kind of painful. Not like we experience physical pain, but it's like a spiritual pain. It's like cognitive dissonance field. Like you want to get out of that state no matter what.
Yeah.
And when I experience cognitive dissonance, I'm searching for the truth. I just don't pick the one that fits, and then I self-brainwash myself or self-indoctrinate myself into forgetting.
So let's go back to the political arena. in the Second Amendment. I've always been very pro Second Amendment, and that's because I believe that, you know. But at one point, I said to myself, "Wait a minute, there are a lot of killings going on. Let me go back and look at the history." So I went back and I looked at the history of it, and really, gun control didn't come into being until the racists decided that African Americans did not need guns.
Or the free, like, did this happen in American history in a timeline? Where did this happen? Like,
And I think
after slavery was abolished,
I think in California, and I know it was one of the bigger cities. I think it may have been San Francisco. I'm not 100% on that, but at the time there were some racists. This is how I remember it. I may have to fact check myself on this, but this has been years and years ago that I did the research. The Black Panthers took to the streets with shotguns because the police were so abusive to their community that they wanted the police to understand that this is not something that's acceptable, and we are here watching you.
So the Black Panthers actually started out as a reaction. They were as a reaction to government overreach and abuse.
To racism.
And the racism within the.
Yes.
So they started out as a good thing.
Yes, absolutely.
So they protected their own communities
100%,
from
yes.
government. So why do they now have a bad name? I mean, I don't.
Well, everything evolves. I mean, you remember the documentary we watched about? You remember the timeline of the political parties, how it twisted?
Oh yeah, we just watched the video.
Yeah, it's everything evolves.
So why do black people keep voting for their quote-unquote slave masters?
Well, again, everything evolves.
Right.
So the Republican parties and the Democrat parties have switched spots a few times. We're in the middle of a switch right now.
It is kind of confusing because the Democrats sound like the Republicans sound like the Democrats.
Well,
and I'm standing here going,
this is the problem with party politics. When you are so invested in your party instead of in your political point of view.
Yeah, that's why the Libertarian Party has lost me as a member.
That's why I left. You're gonna watch it. What was his name?
Party of Principle.
Oliver Chase. Is that what his name was?
Chase Oliver.
Chase
yes.
Oliver.
I voted for him.
No, well, you held your nose and voted for
ballot access in Georgia. That's all I wanted.
But that's you know, everything evolves, and sometimes it doesn't evolve to a good spot.
He was a total lino.
Sometimes it doesn't evolve to a good spot, and it needs to die out.
It does need to die, but somebody always keeps propping this crap up.
Well, we're in the middle of a change. We're in the middle of the party switching again.
So Elon Musk America Party, right?
We're in the middle of the party switching again. However, at this point in time, we have such a huge amount of access to information. We may be able to come out on top. We may be able to come out with a third party, maybe the America Party, I don't know.
The third party is the Libertarian Party. Then we got the Greens, the Constitution Party. We already have so many quote-unquote third parties.
So you have the Democrats and the Republicans, and then you've got all of this other trash, which we were a part of for a while. Okay? The Libertarian, the Green Party, all of that crap. All right? Because look, Chase Oliver? Chase Oliver? I should remember that because basically all he did was chase his tail, so Chase comes first. Chase Oliver, all that crap, where it ended up being is just white noise. It's just over there, and all we've done is nothing.
Right, nothing ever changed.
My Libertarian Foundation is still there, but the Libertarian Party, just because it has the name Libertarian in it,
Right. I'm not a card-carrying libertarian anymore, but I am still, or Libertarian Party member, but I am still a libertarian.
Yes, but
for this country, I think libertarianism would be just what this country needs.
But the idea of a third party, when people say a third party, they're not saying there aren't any other parties already. What they're saying is a third party that can be a challenge to those two.
Oh, okay. I just always took that literal because,
No, I understand. I did too
it's
originally,
like the
but
third party. What about the libertarians? Because they always like,
no, there's
it's
third,
complete
fourth, and fifth
quiet.
parties.
Trump gave them such a great opportunity.
And they threw it away.
They gave them the media coverage that they've never been, they've never had.
Whatever happened
But
to the
then
president of the
they
Libertarian Party?
squander the opportunity in such a huge way.
Yeah.
And the whole thing was just laughable. The whole, yeah, and I'm like, it's just politics as usual with them now too.
So, that was heartbreaking for me.
I
I really
was
thought
like,
we were making inroads
so the
toward
party of principle has lost their principles, and why should I give you my dues?
I didn't give you my dues. I didn't give you my vote. I walked away. It's just like companies I don't like. You don't get my money if you're not a good company, and I don't like you.
Right, but
to hell.
and you should fail when you screw up so badly that your customers lose so much faith in you that you don't make any more money and your profits are like in the negative. Then you go run whining to the government and say, oh, but we're too big to fail. If we fail, what is going to happen? This is going to be a wasteland.
Yeah.
No, it won't. Someone else going to pop up in your place and do it better than you. That's what's going to happen, but we don't. Mm-mm. And they always throw the word fascism around, and it's like it's starting to lose its meaning.
So we have an opportunity here, and I'm hoping that Musk's new party, I hope he doesn't register it. Number one, I hope he doesn't register it with the government.
Right.
Because you know what? Screw you. We can do whatever the hell we want. We are the American people. We are the government. It is our country.
That system is designed to keep you out anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, ballot access is like obscenely difficult to achieve.
Think about the revolution we could have if on election day a write-in candidate won.
Oh my gosh, that would be awesome.
That.
Who would we write in?
Huh?
Who would we write in?
Well, we don't even know. I don't even know the planks of his party. I mean, if he's anti-Second Amendment, I'm kind of out. I mean, that's.
Well, if it's any significantly different than what... See, we need a party that represents the idea the Founding Fathers had for this country. With all of our flaws and our bloody history,
yeah,
we have improved. Yes, it's not perfect. Nothing ever is.
I need to point this out. I need to point this out because every time it comes up, I want everybody to understand where my point of view is. Our bloody history is not unique. It is the history of the world.
Right,
not
exactly.
Of our nation.
That's the other point. But for, the idea of governance, the great experiment or whatever, I mean, they basically started expanding from the day they came into being. It's kind of like the Big Bang. Poof!
So,
and now look at what the government has become.
We have come all the way back around.
The federal government used to fit the names of the people in the federal government used to fit on like one page. Now look at it.
We have come all the way back around to the Big Bang.
Ever expanding.
I'm trying.
The government.
I'm trying to wrap this up.
The federal government is the
I'm trying to wrap this up.
Wait. What is in the great beyond?
The government. Look.
What is beyond the government, though?
Another government. There's a guy sitting in front of a computer, a terminal. We're all just avatars.
Little computer people. We're in a simulation. And
let's see how old the audience is. We're all just avatars in the game of Zork.
I guess we are programmed not to see the little green diamond floating over our heads.
Oh boy, she's going with Sims. I'm going with Zork. I think we know who's older. Or how about this one? The leather goddess of Phobos.
Oh my gosh, really?
Let's wrap this up. I didn't even know what that game was until I started playing it.
Now you definitely aged called yourself out on your age.
All right, so thank you for joining me this morning. That was quite nice. I had a good time. I had a good conversation. It's nice that we can have conversations where you actually forget that we're having a podcast, which I did, and I think you did.
I just still don't want to listen to it because I hate my recorded voice.
Oh, you don't have to listen to it.
I sound awful to myself.
Yeah.
So every time
hard-headed.
you got me on, your viewership drops by half. From 2 to 1.
No, I need you to listen to it. I need to make
right,
that
now
extra.
I'm one of the listeners, so
Look, I can make, if you'll listen to it through your account, I will make 1/1000th of a cent.
Oh, kind of like a Bitcoin, huh? You can't really keep track of all the zeros before the decimal point. I mean,
So
after the decimal point, before the first number.
she has a problem with me wrapping
I am
things up.
over-caffeinated.
She doesn't want things to end.
It's
She
your
wants
fault.
she wants them to go on forever and ever. She had like a cup of
Lay it
coffee,
out.
like this big. It was
Bye.
okay, maybe this big. I have a big cup.
Ciao. Auf Wiedersehen.
So thank you for tuning in. If you don't mind, I don't usually do this, but I seem to get more viewership when Emma's on the
Yeah, I don't know why.
when she's on the podcast. If you could just, I'm not going to say this often, but you know, like and subscribe.
Me being on this podcast is definitely not in the spirit of your podcast.
Oh, trust me. When she's on the podcast, there's a lot more rambling going on. I think you all have seen that today. We started off with the Big Bang and we moved through politics, the Second Amendment, science, all the way back to the big game, Big
Right.
Bang. So that's definitely.
Because you gave me coffee.
I did give you
And
coffee.
now I'm buzzing right along like I'm having a panic attack.
This is how we get the day moving, with coffee. All right, now let's go run a marathon. I hope you guys have an incredible Thursday, and this time it actually is Thursday. I don't know what happened to me yesterday. I hope that you find peace, love, and dream. Until next time,
Later out.
what she said.